What's going on, fam? We got a little bit of show combination. We got same people, different places, but we'll all be together tonight. Give it about like an hour and a half, and we're gonna have some fun. But me and Bri are always gonna have fun right now. So
let's go, baby.
Keep it locked in. Here we go.
Let's go. This ain't the fuck like Ortiz thinking he stinks.
Oh shit!
It's gone.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Flight Zone, always brought to you by Manscaped. You can get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence. Always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. We are on a different night tonight. Evan will be joining us in maybe about 20 minutes or so. So he will be hopping on. We're going to go all in for about an hour of what happened this past weekend when it comes to the NFL and the Divisional Round. Obviously got to talk about what happened that Sunday night, one of the greatest games of football I've ever seen. And I've said that quite often this year. I said it about the Raiders and the Chargers game, Week 18. It's just unbelievable quarterback play. And that brings us right to the poll. But first, let me introduce the man, the myth, the legend himself, Brian Daly of Hockey Happy Hour. He will be on at 7 o'clock tonight with his boy Maddie. We're going
double dipping today.
Yeah, we're going to be, and we appreciate it. We're going to be live reacting to the Flyers game. Evan obviously has a thing against Carter Hart, so we are excited to hear that. I went to the game last night. Tough loss, but I got my gritty t-shirt, so all is well, I guess. And they look like they will be vouching for the longest losing streak in NHL history. What are they, 5 games away now? 6 games away?
Yeah. They're going for 13 tonight. Let's hope they break it. They just brought in a new coach. He had success with the Minnesota Wild, so
yeah, I'm hoping. I look, when I went to the game last night, the only thing I can imagine is when am I ever going to be able to see relevant hockey again? Because I know my hockey, but I won't shy away from the fact that I am kind of a fair weather hockey fan when it comes to around the league. Like when the Flyers aren't doing well, I'll still pay attention to them, but I lose total interest in the league. But when they're doing hot, that's when I develop my interest for the league, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can tell by the jerseys on my back wall here. I'm enjoying some positive hockey, and
yeah,
you know, I mean, with the Flyers, and we'll get more into it at 7 o'clock on the Hockey Happy Hour. Is they got some issues upstairs, and I think once they get that fixed, you're going to see a little bit more because the culture is not what it was. No. But like I said, we'll get more into that when we get over to the hockey side of this.
Yes, awesome. And that leads us into the poll for the day, brought to you by Body Check Wellness. Body Check Wellness just brings you everything. Use the promo code A2D. It line of products that promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. Come in extracts, blends, gummies, and topicals. Use promo code A2D for that 25% off. And the poll for tonight, it's quite simple, actually. I think everybody knows where I stand on this after witnessing the quarterback play this weekend from the likes of Joe Burrow. I know Tannehill was a disaster, and that's why he lost. But you go from Joe Burrow to Aaron Rodgers, who had a rough game when the temperature was 0 degrees in a blizzard. So obviously the better defense, the better special teams, the better run game won that game, and that's why the 49ers win. Don't get it twisted. A guy like Jimmy G, he may never win a Super Bowl because he just doesn't have the arm talent. Guys with arm talent win Super Bowls. And that's the poll for tonight. After witnessing the quarterback play this weekend, it is safe to say Jalen Hurts is not the guy for the future for the Philadelphia Eagles. Agree or disagree? And I'm going to agree full-heartedly. You got guys like Josh Allen who left it all out on the field Sunday night. There was nothing more he could have done other than call tails. Or heads, I'm sorry, because he called tails.
Yeah.
Maybe if he called heads, then he wins the game. But that's the only thing he did wrong. on Sunday night. And guys like that win championships. Guys like Russell Wilson win championships. Guys like Deshaun Watson when he's not asking for we all know what. But guys like that wins championships. We need a guy like that to come into Philadelphia and just take over the reins, run Nick Sirianni's offense. You can build a defense in free agency, but when it comes to trying to win a championship, you need that quarterback. It's very rare where it is a full-fledged team effort. You even look at Nick Foles. Our defense wasn't the best in the Super Bowl, obviously. Like it was a good year for that defense, a top 10 defense, but it was kind of like what happened this year. When you play a legit quarterback, you're going to fail. But if you have a quarterback that can outduel the other quarterback, you're going to win championships. So that's why I'm going to fully agree to this poll.
Dude, I fully agree too. I mean, if you look at these other guys, you look at Mahomes, you look at Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, you can even stretch a little bit and say even Derek Carr in the first round. Like these guys do the intangibles right. They sit in the pocket. They don't rush their throws. They don't, they go through the progressions. They don't just look at one and then take off. And that's what Jalen does. He doesn't go through his progressions. He doesn't want to stay in the pocket. He wants to run. And those full type mobile quarterbacks will never win championships. We've already seen it. How many talented quarterbacks have come through the league that have been full mobile? Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb. You can say Dante Culpepper. Like these guys were full mobile quarterbacks, and they never won anything because in the NFL you got to be able to throw the ball too. And we know that he doesn't have the arm strength. We know when he gets behind, he starts to really force stuff, and it's really weird to me to see that people just can't see that. They want to say, "Oh, he's going to grow. He's going to grow."
Yeah,
I can't sit there and say that. I've been seeing the same thing all year. He's making the same mistakes. He's not really learning from them, clearly, because he's still doing the same thing. Yeah. If he could sit back in the pocket a little bit longer and go through his progressions, we're looking at a whole different team. But he's not that guy. He's not the guy. And to me, you give him one more year and then you use these 3 picks to build around him. Mm-hmm. And then you go after your guy. To me, I can't sit here and justify with the team that we have on the field right now, going out and getting another quarterback and expecting this team to be a contender. Because right now, I don't think they are.
Yeah, I mean, and this is where you and I will disagree on this because I still think that we are a quarterback that can stick in the pocket, go through his progressions, and deliver the ball away from being a divisional weekend team. And if you look at all the capital that we have around us going from there, when we talk about the salary cap and we talk about the draft picks, got 3 first-round draft picks, or 1 second-round draft pick, 2 third-round draft picks, you can easily get 3 defensive starters from there and quite possibly sign another receiver and another defender. Now, when we talk about that, I think we can legitimately get to an NFC Conference Championship game only because the quarterback play in the NFC is not as strong as the quarterback play in the AFC. Like you got guys in the AFC like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Deshaun Watson when he's on the field, Joe Burrow. Like you got all those guys. In the NFC, you got Aaron Rodgers, who we don't know where he's going to be. You got Tom Brady, who may possibly retire. And then who else do you got in the NFC? You got Matt Stafford. You got Jimmy Garoppolo.
Stafford. And Jimmy could wind up somewhere else. He's probably not going to stay in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Not with Trey Lance coming up.
Yeah. And then we look at the Cincinnati Bengals, how they did it. Cincinnati Bengals did it by building their defense in free agency, like guys with Trey Hendrickson, Von Bell, Jesse Bates, Eli Apple. The other corner that they signed. They built their defense in free agency, kind of like what the Eagles did our Super Bowl year. We built that defense in free agency. And then they went all out in drafting an offense. Now they're still an offensive line away from being legit contenders, but they got all their skill positions. They got Joe Burrow. They got Joe Mixon, who they drafted. They got T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, obviously, Tyler Boyd, CJ Usama. Like their whole offense is built from the draft. And that's where I feel like this team should start to progress. Now, you already did it with Quez Watkins. You did it with Miles when he's healthy. If we think he's the guy, that's a different argument for a different day. You did it with Devontae. You did it with Dallas. Like, you have all these young pieces that you drafted, right? I think they're one more draft pick away and obviously a quarterback away from being what the Bengals are. And that's just how I see it. And then you got all that capital that you can spend on defense.
I'm all about spending some of that capital on defense. You need to get the edge rusher. You need to get your field journal. You need to get that linebacker. I don't know why they've ignored that position for so long, but you definitely need that linebacker. Dallas is showing you with Vander Esch and Micah Parsons. And then they still have Jabril Cox too, who's not necessarily a starter, but could be a decent line. Like, it just goes to show you how important that defense is, especially that front seven. And if you have the right guys there in that position, you're going to get sustained pressure on the quarterback, which is something that seriously hurt the Eagles on last week playing the Bucs. Was not getting any pressure on Brady. Upgrade a little bit on the line because obviously you have Lane Johnson's getting a little older. Jason Kelsey's up in the air, and then Brandon Brooks.
Yeah,
he's 2 Achilles tears. So he's for me, he's going to be a huge question mark. But you have upsides in Mailata and Dickerson, but to me, they're a little bit more than just wide receiver on the offense. But I could definitely see that argument. I would like to see them draft what's his name, London, wide receiver from
USC.
Yeah,
that guy. Yeah,
I'd say he's big body. He's 50-50, like it's more like 75-25 apparently, at least from the report that I read.
Yeah.
Get a couple linemen.
I'm pretty sure I read that same report, and it was I'm gonna be honest, I have not watched him. I don't really watch the Pac-12, but I saw a very similar report when it came to JJ Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Reagor.
Same thing.
So
it's the same thing about J-Jaw. Now look at him. Special teams star.
Special teams and elite blocker, according to Nick Sirianni, who I love. I love Nick Sirianni. What's up, Dan?
He's growing on me. He's definitely growing on me. Looks like they're making the announcement.
Yeah, we also have MLB Hall of Fame today, so we got to see if Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens is going to get in tonight. So obviously, keep you updated.
First thing they've announced so far is David Ortiz, so he's in.
Okay, first ballot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a given, just a career that he had.
Definitely. But I do see some disagrees in here, and I'm just I don't understand how. Like we could say that this guy could be the starter next year, but then we're also saying we want to go 9-8 again. Because this guy in 22 starts has yet to win us a football game. And
he hasn't won against any of the top tier teams in the league either. He's only been beaten backup quarterbacks and teams like the Jets. So, I mean, like I want to be able to give him the chance because, I am an Eagles fan and as long as he's wearing that midnight green, I want to sit there and be like, oh, I got the faith.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know if I have the faith. I can't. I just from what I'm seeing, I just can't give him the faith. I give him next year. I can do that. But after that, if he doesn't prove anything else to me, that he can be a pocket passer, that he can throw, that he can go through his progressions, check down if he needs to. The arm strength to me is like I can take it or leave it.
Yeah.
But as long as he can hit his receivers in stride and actually sit in the pocket, then I can sit there and say, okay, maybe Jalen is the guy. But I haven't seen that all year. He hits if his guy's not open, he's gone. I can't.
Yep. And another thing is, if we were to go with Jalen Hurts again next year, we're wasting another year on Devontae Smith's rookie deal. We're going to miss another year of Dallas Goedert on that 4-year deal he just signed. So you would have 2 to 3 years left with Dallas. Quez Watkins, he's going to have to get paid soon. And quite honestly, if I'm Quez Watkins, I'm open every single play. I want to go to a team that has a quarterback that can throw me the ball. Yeah. Now, I'm telling you right now, Quez Watkins could be a legit number 2 receiver in this league because he's open every single play. He has that quickness. He has the speed. He has the ability to take the top off the defense. He has all that. I think they're a slot guy away from having a legitimate top 10 offense, but obviously you need the quarterback. And if we're going to stick with Jalen Hurts for next year, the guy's had 22 starts. He is going to be a career backup quarterback. That's what he was drafted to be. That's what he was drafted to be. That's what they told us. Now, the people that are still going to be hanging, like, Brian, I hear your point. If we want to just build the team this offseason and then go for the quarterback next offseason, I would consider it. But I don't want to waste another year on Devontae's deal.
No,
I don't want to just have Quez Watkins walk away from us.
No, I don't blame you, dude. Like, these guys are legit threats. They can be some big weapons in the NFL and for the Eagles specifically. I mean, we saw just the route running from Devontae Smith all year, his field awareness, knowing where how many freaking catches did he have just sitting there tiptoeing the line? Like, his awareness is ridiculous. His ability to catch the ball just pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it. I don't want to waste another year on him either. But I mean, could we go out and get somebody else maybe a little bit cheaper? Yeah. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Jimmy G, but he knows how to win. Maybe go after a Derek Carr, like maybe some cheaper options. Everybody wants to throw Russ out there, Aaron Rodgers out there. Everyone wants to throw who was the other one? Deshaun Watson out there. That's going to cost draft capital.
Derek Carr.
I mean, Derek Carr will still be a fairly cheap
Aaron
option.
Rodgers.
I don't mind the thought of having Derek Carr under center. He's a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
But in that same breath, like I was telling you before, and I know we disagreed on it, which is fine. I'm good with giving Jalen Hurts the reins for next year, but keep him on a short leash. If he doesn't seem like he's getting any better, got to pull him. You got to pull him out before it gets too late.
Yeah, and here's two things just to that point. Number one, I'm not just giving Jalen the quarterback position if the roster remains the same from in the quarterback room aspect, because we still have Gardner Minshew under contract. And I think if those two guys are still quarterback 1 and quarterback 2 going into OTAs, going into training camp, going into the preseason, it should be a quarterback competition all the way up until week 1. Oh, yeah. And if we're being honest, Gardner Minshew wins that job 10 times out of 10. Like, we saw what Jalen Hurts did this year. He had a bad defense go up against horrible quarterbacks, and he rode with the run game all year. Not once did he win a game with his arm. And the reason why people got excited going into those playoff weeks was because he beat up on the Giants and the Washington football team. And he only did that in the second half of those football games, mind you. Like, he hasn't had a legitimate football game that's like jaw-dropping, mind-boggling.
Start to finish? No. Most of the times when I was looking at the stats, I haven't been able to watch every game, but when I'm looking at the stats, first half has always been under 100 yards passing.
Oh, yeah. All the way into the third quarter.
And then fourth quarter, he's got no choice because he wants to try and win the football game and he wants to be the hero. Okay, that's great. Where was this all game long? Yeah. That's my only question. We're like we can see that you can play the position. But where's this been all game long? Like, you don't want to turn it on to the fourth? Like,
it's because I don't know. I don't know what these people see. I don't know what these people like Xavier see. I don't know what who was the other guy that said disagree? What John sees. And John, by the way, does great stuff Sunday mornings at All Campus. I always check out All Campus.
Yeah, definitely check him out. That's where I got this hat from. So go check out John. Go down to OCA. Go check them out.
Yeah, they're right around my corner, by the way. I'm right across the bay from Atlantic City. So, yeah. But John says the streets of the bowl. Yeah. What are you? North Carolina, correct?
Yeah. I'm just outside of Raleigh.
Okay.
So it's taking me probably about 8.5 to 9 hours to get it up to OC.
Yeah. I have my aunt and uncle that live right outside of Raleigh too. So
cool.
Yeah.
If you ever come down, let me know.
All right. Sounds good. Disagree to the poll. It's easy to say we need a strong arm quarterback, but didn't we just run one of them out of Philly, a.k.a. Carson Wentz? Well, that was the thing. I think there was a lot more to the Carson Wentz saga, and what we're seeing now is the guy has no backbone. He seems to be mentally just not in it anymore, and I guess that could be the torn ACL in the back and the concussion. Could be he's more of a family man now, but I feel like what is happening now has nothing to do with Carson Wentz. What is happening now is you have some legit pieces on this roster, and if you were to go out and get a quarterback, these pieces will flow together. Now, we're all saying we don't want to waste any of our capital on a guy like Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, and then maybe we will go for a Jimmy G, maybe we'll go for a Derek Carr. But then we also got to look at this draft. This draft, you got guys that can have the body type, the build like a Josh Allen, like a Patrick Mahomes. I'm never going to say that those guys are going to be that. But if we look at Malik Willis's film, if we look at Sam Pickett's film, Corral's film, like all these guys have the potential to do what those guys like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen were. Because Josh Allen was very raw coming out of college, just like these guys that are in this draft right now. Now, if you could have Sam Corral fall into your hands at 19, or Sam Pickett, or a Malik Willis, or Carson Strong, I would strongly consider it. Because why not? Why not? You have two other draft picks that could be defensive starters.
I think the other two will be defensive starters for sure. But jumping back to quarterback, like you never know what you're going to get out of the draft. Yeah, these guys may not be like the eye talent, like the sexy pick, but I mean, look at some of the guys that have made careers for themselves being late picks. I mean, the best example is Tom Brady. He was a 7th round pick. Nobody expected him to be. Anybody really expect him to be a 7-time Super Bowl winner? The guy's been in the. The guy's been in the playoffs almost, what is it now? More than half of his career?
Yeah, almost every single season.
I don't think Patrick
it's been conference championships more than half of his career.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I believe, was what, a late 1st round pick, or did he fall to the second? And then Mahomes, I believe, was a 2nd round pick as well, I believe.
No, so what was the first name? Rodgers was a late 1st round pick. Alex Smith was drafted before Aaron Rodgers. Remember, it was
same draft as Sam Bradford, I believe, too, right?
Around there, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Bradford was 08, 07, and I think Rodgers and Smith were 06 or 07. It was between 2006 and 2008, all three of those guys. And then Mahomes was the 13th overall pick. He was the same draft as Watson and Trubisky. Chicago traded up and passed on Watson and Mahomes to get Trubisky. And then Watson went to Houston, and then Mahomes went to Kansas City.
Well, kind of like reversing the point, but like that's still the same point. Like you don't know what you're actually going to get out of these guys until they get to the NFL level.
Well, yeah.
So some of these guys that are not the sexy pick at quarterback coming out this year could wind up being the next.
Well, yeah.
You never really know. And then
that's exactly my point, Brian. Because between the picks 13 to 32, Lamar Jackson was 32, right? So as long as you develop the quarterback the right way, if you draft him in the 1st round, I don't think it matters where you draft him in the 1st round. But if you see potential and you already got your 2 best available on defense, and 19 comes and you see a guy like Carson Strong, or you see a guy like Corral or Pickett or Malik Willis, you have any of those guys, I say, why the hell not?
Yeah.
What is the worst that could happen? You already know that you have 2 guys in your quarterback room that aren't going to be your future, right? So, I don't know.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence didn't light the world on fire this year, but then again, look at where he is. Same thing with Zach Wilson. Like these were the numbers, 1 and 3 pick this past draft, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, somewhere in there. But these guys didn't set the world on fire. Now, granted, the organizations are just straight trash, but you never really know what these guys are going to be when they get to the NFL level. I mean, everybody thought Baker was going to set the world on fire. He's been mediocre. Johnny Manziel, he's not even in the league anymore. Yep. So you never really know what you're going to get until these guys actually get up here. These guys can be amazing in college and just shit the bed in the NFL. We've seen it so many times.
Yeah. Yeah, Dales, I hear you. I do not like this point though. I don't think we should intentionally try and hold out for a quarterback 2 years from now, because the likeliness of us being in position to draft a CJ Stroud from Ohio State in 2 years, or a Bryce Young for Alabama in 2 years, it's borderline impossible to just try and predict your way to that, because the NFL is a week to week game. You can't predict what's going to happen 2 off seasons from now. Now, maybe in free agency you can try and do that, but you cannot do that with the draft. You cannot do it with the draft. So, and I would love to have a guy like CJ Stroud, but unfortunately, he's not draft eligible this year. You got to go what you have right now. A week-to-week game, year-to-year season to build a roster. So I'm out on trying to intentionally hold out for CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. Now, if they were to fall to us next draft and we don't draft a quarterback this year, then that's fine. That's the direction that the team wants to go. But we can't intentionally go out of our way to try and take a quarterback 2 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, to Bobby's point here, but I mean, quarterbacks are never guaranteed. It doesn't matter what draft you're in.
Yeah,
exactly. It's just like I was saying. You don't know what you're gonna get. I mean, guys just can light it up in college, and that their game just does not translate to the NFL level. The quickness, the speed. You got all these guys that are bigger, faster, and stronger coming at you. One hard hit and a guy's rattled for the rest of his career. I mean, like I said, we've seen it a lot. We've seen it through a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL just within the last few years. I mean, Terrell Pryor never panned out. Jamarcus Russell never panned out. These guys were massive guys in college.
Yeah.
And now where are they? Terrell Pryor was playing wide receiver. Last I know of, he was in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's gone now.
Pryor.
I don't know where he is.
I mean, and he had to switch to wide receiver. He was Cleveland, Washington, and Oakland, I think. But I think it's a silly point to try and just hold out for that. It rarely ever works. It's not basketball where you could just tank. It's not baseball where you could just tank. It's not hockey where you can just tank for that number one guy. You know?
And hockey's not a guarantee with the draft lottery anymore.
Exactly. So I wouldn't go that far, Demon, because Rattler stinks. Spencer Rattler blows. But yeah, that's really all we have to say. I mean, that's all I have to say about Jalen Hurts. If it ends up being that Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew are going to be one of the guys in 2022, it should be an open competition, and the guy that can best lead this offense should do it. Because I want Devontae Smith to have over 1,000-yard season. I want the league to know that Quez Watkins is a legit receiver. So,
I definitely think he could be. I mean, I like a lot of the aspects of his game, his speed, his hands. We know what he can do. I like his route running, his big play ability. It's similar to Devontae, but I just think Devontae is a better route runner. I think that is what's going to make him the number one over Quez. And if you can get a guy who can sit in the pocket and go through his progressions and find the open guy, I like where the offense is.
Well, yeah,
for the most part. Like I said, I mean, you got a couple upgrades you got to make on the line, and then, like you were saying, Jimmy, and I agree, you get another wide receiver in here, a slot receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I like what it seems like, even with the running back core as is.
Yeah, quite honestly, dude. If you were to go for Allen Robinson and he could be your possession guy, and you slide Quez or Devontae into that slot, I think Quez and Devontae can interchangeably go into that slot if you don't want to get a true slot receiver. And then you sign a guy like Allen Robinson. Honestly, I think who would be perfect on this offense right now would be Tyler Boyd from Cincinnati, but he'll never leave that trio. But you need a guy like Tyler Boyd or Colt Beasley, one of those slot guys that just find the open space.
I wouldn't mind getting Cole Beasley in here. The dude catches footballs. His speed is still there. So he's getting a little bit older, but dude still makes plays. I mean,
plus, you got all those receivers in Buffalo, too. I mean, Gabriel Davis came out of nowhere. I think Emmanuel Sanders is going to be done, but you also got Isaiah McKenzie, who's their fifth guy this year, and he had a game where he had 12 catches for 130-something yards this year. So I'm big on Gabe Davis. I just kind of wish I held on to him in my fantasy leagues, but yeah,
I'm big on him, and he's still really young. And he showed on Sunday. Showed on Sunday that he could be a weapon and he can get open.
Oh yeah, and that move that he had in the corner, I don't know what touchdown it was in the 2 minute inside the 2 minute mark, but that move that just he literally made a guy fall down. It was not the weather.
I don't know who was covering him for KC, but he just flat out beat him.
Yeah.
I think it was his third touchdown. It was one of the deeper balls that he caught. He just flat out beat the guy and just made the play. Like he's going to be a stud. I think he really is going to be a stud.
Him with Diggs and Dawson Knox and Devin Singletary and Josh Allen and their offensive line. I would be scared to be in the AFC right now because you got that. You got the Chiefs. You got Joe Burrow and the Bengals. You got if Staley ever gets fired from the Chargers, you got Herbert, who's always going to be a legitimate threat. The Broncos yeah. I love Herbert. I love Allen. I love Mahomes. I love all those. I think I love every single quarterback in the AFC, to be honest. Yeah, I love all of them.
You know what I love right now? They're doing the interview with Big Papi. Guess who's right behind him?
Barry Bonds?
No, but they're officially off now. It's Pedro.
Oh, okay.
Pedro is sitting right behind him. I love it.
They were buddies in Boston, weren't they?
Oh yeah, are. They're still very good friends.
Yeah. It's a shame Pedro could never win with us. I think what year was he? He was 2009.
2009. He was on the World Series team.
Yeah.
I love Pedro.
Could have went back to back, but
should have went back to back.
Stupid Yankees. Stupid Yankees.
Hate the Yankees.
Yep. How old was I when that happened? I was.
Don't. No, let's not go there.
All right,
let's not go there.
All right,
no. Dude, I work with a bunch of like 19, 20, 21-year-olds. I feel old enough as it is. So
yeah. I'll keep it to myself.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Russ, I do believe Juju is a free agent. I wanted Juju last offseason, and Juju ended up going with the Steelers. I think now, honestly, I think it depends on Ben. If apparently Ben doesn't know what he's going to do, I think Juju will try and stay with Ben as long as Ben's here, and then Juju will go and try and chase a contract after that. But I would totally be okay with Smith-Schuster's an ex-rugby player. The only reason why he chose NFL is because he can make a living in the NFL. You can't make a living in rugby. But he was a big-time
rugby
player.
Not over here, at least.
Not over here. You would have to go play in the Australian leagues, Japanese leagues, English leagues. But yeah, Juju was a big-time rugby player. I love his toughness. I love his game. He could definitely fill in the slot. And you have Juju, Quez, and Devontae with Goddard and the running back core and this offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do legitimately think you're one more receiver away and obviously a quarterback from making some noise in the NFC. So
yeah, and obviously we got the defensive issues as well. Like I was saying, in the first couple picks are at 15, 16. I'm definitely going defense. Doesn't matter, interchange, linebacker, edge rusher. I go right there. Mm-hmm. And then with 19, that's where I think I would go. I would go with one of the more offensive skill positions, probably wide receiver, honestly. If you can't get one in free agency.
I would go Jamison Williams. I mean, you're seeing that these guys are miraculously coming back from torn Achilles, Cam Akers, torn Achilles in July, and now he's a workhorse the past 2 weeks. Like nothing happened. I know he fumbled twice, but these guys that are having those more serious injuries that 5, 7, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, take a year to recover. I think Jamison Williams would be fine. I mean, you look at Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson tore his ACL in January of 2020, or I'm sorry, December of 2020, and he came back and started every single game this year. So I would not be opposed to drafting Jamison Williams at 19, wide receiver from Alabama. And you have him, and you could save that Juju contract for a guy on defense. That's when you seem to look at the way the Bengals built their team, where they built it in free agency and they kept on drafting young talent on the offensive side of the ball. Like this team is fun to think about when you but it just starts with the poll question, and the poll question is, do we trust Jalen Hurts? And I don't trust him.
Essentially, and I'm the same. I don't trust him at all. I'm like I said, I don't think this team is a true contender yet. So that's why I want to go and build around Jalen for 1 year and then go out and get your quarterback, bring him in, bring in your franchise guy. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily even need to be Jalen. If you go out and you trade for Derek Carr, trade for Russ, although I don't really want Russ because he's 34. That's my only issue with him.
And it's probably going to cost you 3. It's going to cost you 3 first-round picks, by the way, if you get Russ or Rodgers. So we would have to
Watson. Watson's probably going to cost you about that too.
Yeah.
But the upside to Watson is he's still young, and he is a franchise guy. We've seen it. But again, it's I want to build in other places first, and then worry about the quarterback last. But again, that's just me. I want to put the team together, see how they do, and then after that, if Jalen's still not the guy, he doesn't improve, he doesn't get any better, then it's like, all right, we know he's not the guy. Although most of us think that he's not now. Then you go get your quarterback.
Yeah, I hear you. And just one last point, and then we'll make our conference championships predictions for next week. I have a ticket open from Christmas. It's Chiefs over the Rams. $35 ticket could win me $1,000. So
Nice.
Yeah,
I can't do any of that stuff down here. Like I tried to do it on. Who do I usually use? I usually use DraftKings, and they're like, "You don't live in Jersey or PA anymore. You can't do that." I'm like, "Damn."
Yeah, that's horrible. That's shocking too, because the sports betting's becoming. It's basically the main thing in sports now is just sports betting. So I'm surprised that North Carolina too, because North Carolina is a big state where people just move there just to move there.
Oh,
You know,
that's what I did. I just moved here to move here. I have a buddy that lives down here, so he's like, "Yo, just move down here." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, what are you holding on to?" Nothing.
DraftKings.
Yeah, right? No. I got to move back home. Why? I can't use DraftKings.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm not to the point where hedging is a thing right now because I don't have the cash out option yet. But I think once it gets closer to Sunday, I'll start getting the cash out thing and see what happens, because I am scared of the Bengals. I think the Bengals can make some noise against the Chiefs. I said the same thing about the 49ers last weekend. I said it on the flight zone. I was like, dude, the 49ers are going to cover, and don't be surprised if they win this game outright. Now, I'm feeling that same feeling with the Bengals this week. I think the line's at 7.5 right now. But there's no way in hell they don't cover that. So, and just the way how it all works too. Yeah, just the way that they've been clicking. I just feel like it's bound to happen. That's something crazy, especially with the way this playoff is going.
Oh yeah,
where you had 3 out of the 4 road teams win in the divisional. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
I mean, I'm all about the Bengals right now. Like, I didn't expect to be as about them as I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, think about it. Think about that offense right now. You got Joe Mixon, who's running the ball as well as he ever has. Joe Burrow, who nobody knew what he was going to be coming off of his ACL tear. And just the fact that he's pretty much kicked the door in.
Mm-hmm.
By
the way, that's another guy who recovered from ACL like that. Just like that. So I don't think we should be afraid of ACL injuries anymore. I mean, obviously, if you're Carson Wentz and you have no backbone, then maybe.
Well, if you're an older player too, your body doesn't heal as quickly as when you're younger.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. Yeah, I mean, like that offense. I think that game is going to be a shootout. I think we're going to see a lot of what we saw on Sunday.
Yeah, and I think that the Bengals defense. I don't know if they can do any worse than what the Bills defense did, or if the Chiefs are just that good. So it's going to be a matter of if Joe Burrow can score the football.
And we know he's
going to be at Arrowhead. So
yeah, we know he's gonna find the end zone a couple times here. Wasn't Buffalo's defense one of the top 5 defenses in the league?
Yeah, but they had a lot of games this year where they just let up an obscene amount of points. And then they had their other games where they just shut people out. That's why their top 5 defense, you got to look at it. That's why I hate stats.
Yeah.
I hate stats like that because stats don't always tell the story. Like,
no, they don't.
Every time I watched the Bills defense this year, it was a shootout. Every time they were in primetime, it was a shootout.
Yeah,
I mean except for the Patriots game where they just completely shut down Bill Belichick in 0-degree weather.
Oh yeah, that was the first game. Where they pretty much both teams threw the ball like 3 times total between the two.
Yeah, and the Patriots won that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough. For the Rams at least, I think it's going to be tough because you're playing a Niners team that's beaten them 9 previous times before. I think that's the stat I heard this morning. Yeah. It was like 9 times that the Niners have beaten the Rams.
I think it's 6. And this year it's 2 in a row. And it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was getting to was, it's tough enough to beat team twice, especially now, especially in a really tough conference in the AFC. And now you got to play him a third time.
yeah,
It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
And I feel for him.
Mhm.
I just hope
Jeremiah-
Stafford wins.
yeah, yeah. I think that, especially since it's going to be in the dome, nobody can cover Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, best wide receiver in the league right now. Nobody
Hands
can
down.
cover him. Nobody can cover Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cam Akers is back. You got Sonny Michel. OBJ is starting to sync with Matt Stafford. I think Matt Stafford is just bound to have something good happen to him because he's been in Detroit all those years and he's had one playoff win. And do you blame that on Detroit or do you blame that on Matt Stafford? I think Stafford had a good, I think an above average year, and people were just hating on him because he's Matt Stafford, former quarterback of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I never hated on him for being. I always blamed Detroit because Detroit never could really build a team around him. And he had some good targets to throw to. I mean, Kenny Galladay in his prime was great. He had Megatron, but I mean,
Yeah.
outside of those guys, like
Never had a
who's he
defense.
throwing to? He never had anybody decent. He always had
Yeah.
the one guy, and the only reason why he still put up those really good numbers with Detroit was you couldn't cover Megatron.
Yeah.
Even if you overthrew him, he was grabbing the ball. If he had two guys, even when he was double covered, he was still grabbing the ball, which is why he's a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with Galladay. I mean, Galladay was catching most of the stuff thrown to him. I mean, Stafford was an incredibly underrated quarterback, and I think we're really starting to see how good that he really is. I mean, his first year in LA, the connection he has with Cooper Kupp already is just absolutely ridiculous. And like you said, him and OBJ are starting to get that click in now. And then, the ability to run the ball. They've been able to run the ball all season. And then who's the tight end? I'm blanking on the tight end.
Higbee.
Tyler Higbee. He's another one. He can make plays. He can block. And this is a complete team. And the line protects him. He doesn't get hit that often.
Yeah. Yep. And their defense is, I mean, obviously you just saw what they did to Tom Brady. Their defense can get to any quarterback in the league, and they're all coming back healthy. You got the best cornerback in the league. You got the best lineman in the league, and you got one of the better linebackers in the league in Von Miller that just is ruthless,
And it's they have that on all three levels. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, if we get through the line, we're good. No, if you get through the line, you got to go through Von Miller. Oh, you got through Von Miller? All right. And you got Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
And
you can't bump it outside because of Miller. You can't throw the ball down the field because of Ramsey.
They covered all the grounds. And as much as I don't want them to, I think they're to me, of the four that are here now, you're gonna call me crazy, but I think they're to me, they're my favorite to win the Super Bowl, even over the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I wish I would have done Rams over Chiefs instead of Chiefs over Rams. One, because it would have been a bigger payout, and two, everything you just said, I think the Rams are the team to beat right now.
They're clicking, they're rolling on all cylinders right now. And
now,
I mean, they smacked who the hell they play in the first round? Dallas. Was it Dallas? No.
The Cardinals. Rams played Cardinals, yeah.
Yeah. They smacked them around. Like, they didn't I felt like I was watching the Eagles game again.
Yeah.
It was bad. And then to come out and play like they did against Tom Brady. I mean, granted, the defense blew the lead essentially. Yeah. But to still be able to make that play to get in field goal range and have that walk off. That says a lot about that team and that offense.
Yeah. Yo, Pete. Big crossover action tonight. The Flyers will be on.
Big crossover. I'm stuck with this guy for the next 4 hours.
7:30. 7:30 is puck drop?
I believe 7:00. I think we're kicking off the hockey happy hour as the puck drops.
Okay. All right. So we got about 10 more minutes. So we will get into our weekend winners in about a minute or so. I just want to make this last point. First of all, how we doing, Pete? Always check Pete on Birds of a Feather. Great guys. Him and Chuck's always bringing the hot takes. Love it.
Yeah, Pete pops up wherever he wants to pop up. He's on No Set Show. He'll even tell you that. He's like, I'll show up wherever I want to show up.
Yep.
All right. I'm waiting for him to pop up on the hockey show.
Jeremiah says get Godwin. Now Godwin, another guy with the ACL, and that was
I
a
would love it,
nasty ACL tear. But it's gonna. I don't want to go against my point. Like these guys are coming back like it's nothing. So if you could get Godwin for the right price, yeah, go for it.
He's going to cost you though, especially after the last couple of years that he's had. He's going to cost you a pretty penny. I'm all for it. I love Godwin. His route running ability is one of the best. And he's another one. He just makes plays. It doesn't matter where the ball's thrown. He'll catch it.
Yeah,
and he's got the speed.
And my perfect plan is probably going to change every single episode. But this week, January 25th on a Tuesday, this is what I want them to do. I want them to get a game-changing defensive end pass rusher. You got about 4 of them in this draft. You pick one of them with your first pick. Your second pick, I would go wide receiver. I would go Jamison Williams. I would go Olave from Ohio State. I would go any of those guys. And then your third pick, if the quarterback is there, you do that. And then you build the defense in free agency. That's what I'm thinking right now. Now, obviously, it's going to change next week, but
I'm sure it will.
That's what I'm thinking right now.
We just gotta. I mean, the Eagles, like I said, they're not far off. They're really not far off from being a contender. I like a lot of the pieces they have in place already.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of who they bring it back. Who do they bring in this year for me via free agency? But for right now, my plan, and I've probably said it a couple times already. It doesn't matter which interchangeable edge rusher or linebacker. You need a linebacker. Chris Singleton is good. I like him. He's a tackling machine, but he's not the guy you need there, especially up the middle. I don't know how many times
he's a special teams
best
guy.
Example is Zeke. How many times they just give it to him and he just goes up the middle and he's gone.
And he's Alex Singleton, Chris Singleton,
Alex
country
Singleton. Sorry,
country singer is Chris Singleton.
I was thinking they're sitting there about it, and as I'm talking, I'm like, wait, that doesn't sound right. It sounds right, but it doesn't sound right.
No, it's not Singleton. It's Chris Stapleton. I'm even messing up with my country music.
It's all good. I got 2 country artists that I listen to, so it is what it is. You know more than me.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Give me Thomas Rhett. I'm good. I don't need anybody else.
Yeah, Thomas Rhett's a good one. Ryan says, Brian, you were so right about getting positions in place first before the quarterback comes. I never understood why so many teams always draft QBs and they don't have a great line in place first, but a horrible O-line. You see teams like the Browns, Jets, Jags, Washington drafting quarterbacks over and over again. And they don't have anything around them, and that's why they fail. So, I hear you, Ryan, but I still think that we have a team. If we were to get a quarterback, they won't fail right now. And look at this guy.
Hey,
what's up?
Look at this guy. Decided to show up to the party. So, but I hear you, Ryan. It is what it is. I think we have a team where we can go out and get that quarterback right now, because a game-changing quarterback wins us 3 more games than what we had this year. And that game-changing quarterback for sure as hell wouldn't have got blown out by the Buccaneers in the wild card round. So,
the Eagles are also in a better position at the offensive line than some of those other teams that Ryan mentioned. So you can go out and you can do that. But again, it's just what I'm looking at. It's what I want them to see. It's just build around and then go get the quarterback. You get all your pieces in place, and it's not going to take long. It won't take long, because like I said, they're not far off from being a Super Bowl contender, or at least a deep run playoff contender again.
Yeah.
Just need a couple pieces here and there.
Yep.
Don. Steel boy.
All right, we're going to get into weekend winners, and then we are going to switch over to Hockey Happy Hour right as the puck drops. First, though, make sure you become a member, A2D member. You could come on and join all these crossover shows if you became an A2D member. You also get members-only streams, shout-outs, jersey giveaways, and, of course, you get all your money back with the weekly sports picks from Nate Moss from the Money Pot Podcast and Willie Vegas from the flagship Agree to Disagree. So make sure you check that out.
You should be on there. You should be on there with the.
I should be on there. I mean, I'm TikTok famous now.
Yeah,
Brian, if you didn't hear, I am TikTok famous now. I did it. I posted a little video of. I had the first 2 games right on Saturday, and I did the voiceover of Kobe saying why he should be happy. It's only 2-0, and he says the job's not finished. So I voiced that over, and then once the 2 games that happened on Sunday happened, and I won the parlay, my TikTok blew up, like tens of thousands of views,
70,
tens of thousands of likes.
Someone went viral in a good way.
I went viral, and then the next video I posted went viral
too.
So I'm gonna keep on posting pics, and we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens, because I'm not gonna lie, I got gassed up a little bit. My girlfriend was like, "You need to stop," and I'm like, "Don't be mad because I got TikTok famous from only posting 3 videos, and you post 2 videos a day, and you're still not TikTok famous."
Dude, I mean, like, I get hyped up over like athletes that like our stuff, like Darius Slay's shared our stuff. Miles has shared our stuff. Bryce Harper, when he liked something on, we did like, this was like 2 years ago now. We put up a couple, like pick'em teams or whatever. Like, and Bryce Harper's just like, he liked it. And then he commented on it. He's like, Team Forest Fire. And I'm just kind of sitting there. I'm like, all right, Bryce, I'm trying to contain myself because I'm at work. Yeah. Meanwhile, inside, I'm jumping and screaming like a little girl. Like, that's the stuff I get hyped over, because I'm like, Bryce Harper knows who we are.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Weekend winners before we get into Hockey Happy Hour tonight. I know Maddie's going to join us in a little bit. We're going to switch over, probably give like a minute leeway. Me and Bri are going to drink some water so we stay hydrated.
Oh, yeah. We got to double dipping today. I mean, Evan should be fine. He's
I'll be all right.
Showing up, the end of the show.
All right. Weekend winners brought to you by Fan Up. Fan Up, best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win those great prizes. Sign up today. Promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points. That is a $50 value. Fanup.app. All right, boys. My first winner. I was going to say me. I was going to share that at the end because of what I did on TikTok, but I'll switch it now. I think, obviously, it's what we've been talking about the whole show. Josh Allen. I think that whole Bears roster, to be honest, because
Bills.
You can Bills. What did I say?
Bears.
Yeah, the Bears are a permanent loser. Permanent loser are the Bills.
Nick Foles
or the Bears. Duh. So the Bills. I just how much they wanted that game and the amount of emotion that they were showing after that game. 2 years in a row now, mind you. Just heartbreaking losses
against the Chiefs. The last 3 years, the Chiefs have beat them in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, so even though the Chiefs won the game, I'm going to give my weekend winner to the Bills just because you don't see that type of passion from professional athletes nowadays, especially Josh Allen. You could tell Josh Allen got his heart ripped out.
Dude, that defense at the end, they were playing prevent at the
horrible. And that's going to lead into my loser of the week. It's going to be McDermott and it's going to be Leslie Frazier. That prevent defense sucks. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. You're just handing them yards. You're handing them the football game. You are handing them the football. 13 seconds? You let them score a freaking field goal in 13 seconds?
They should have done that thing where with the 49ers were doing when they had just guys on the sideline, like bait them into the middle.
Yeah.
So they should have done that, but they didn't think of doing that at all.
You guys got quick winners and losers?
For me, real quick, I mean, mine's going to be fairly similar. Loser of the week is Leslie Frazier for giving up that field goal and pretty much losing that game for Josh Allen. Yeah. My winner is Matt Stafford, just coming in and really just cracking skulls in essentially his second and third playoff game in his career. So just for him coming out and just balling the way he has, getting the Rams back to the NFC Championship for the second time in 4 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
4 years.
Super Bowl appearance.
Let's see if he can finish it. Let's see if he can do what Goff couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, they thought that the quarterback was the only thing that they were away. Like, they were one quarterback away from being that team. So we'll see if it'll come to fruition. So,
man. Obviously, I'd say Josh Allen in particular, but I'll go with actually San Francisco. They pulled out in one of the hardest environments you can play a game in. Necessarily, it was freezing out. And they stopped Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers had no touchdowns, did he?
Nope.
None.
They locked him up.
It was one A.J. Dillon touchdown on either team. The offense scored both teams. The offense only scored one touchdown.
Yeah, I have to say 49ers defense.
The Niners wasn't even an offensive touchdown. It was special teams.
Special teams.
Yeah.
Yep.
49ers defense, man. They're good.
It was a huge block punt.
I jumped and screamed when that happened because obviously the parlay, and it was It was over $500. So,
wait, you were betting against 49ers?
Nah, I had the 49ers +5.
Oh, geez. There we go.
Yeah. So even when that block happened, it was 10-3.
Yeah.
The Packers were winning. So, but
tied it up 10-10. Yeah. And then we all know what happened after that.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Guys, it was fun. Evan, thank you for showing up.
Within the final 5 minutes.
Dales, I appreciate you. Always welcome on the Flight Zone.
Just let me know.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And Evan and I are both looking forward to Hockey Happy Hour tonight.
We'll definitely have to do it more when baseball season starts, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's summertime is when Evan and I start to get really funny.
Yeah. I actually said my slipper was soft before. I think it was when we were in a losing streak. So I was kind of wrong about that. Yeah. For now.
You're gonna be wrong about Carter Hart too. So,
and then a final shout out to again David Ortiz, the lone selection for the 2002 Cooperstown Hall of Fame induction
Bonds
class.
didn't get in.
Bonds, Clemens, nope.
Wow.
They didn't even break 70 again.
Oh wow.
I think Bonds was second with 66.9, and then Clemens was right behind him with like 65 or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Barry Bonds may be out of the MLB Hall of Fame for life.
I think they're done. I think they're off the ballot now.
Yeah, I mean they've been on the ballot since I was freaking 14 years old. I think.
Yeah, I think it's been. I think you have 10 years on the ballot.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Do you guys think Rollins gets in or no chance?
I don't think he does.
I think Rollins and Howard will.
I think
both
Howard
MVPs.
More likely than Rollins.
Both regular season MVPs, both World Series champions. Chase Utley, maybe. I think Chase Utley out of the three of them is the least likely to make it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, yeah. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Jimmy spent more time in the major leagues than both those guys. So, I mean, Jimmy came up so relatively young. I think Chase was 26 and Howard was 27 when they both came up.
Yep.
So they didn't get a ton of time. But, I mean, Rollins did some great stuff in his career. I mean, obviously, he's the all-time Phillies hits leader, and he had the MVP year. And he was, a 13-time Gold Glove shortstop, something like that. I think he should be enshrined by the organization for sure, but I don't know if he gets the Cooperstown.
I mean, it's going to be interesting when all of those guys start to have their qualifications go up.
I didn't even see the voting for Rollins, so I didn't even see what his percentage was. I don't even know if he's going to be back on the ballot next year.
Oh man, wow!
So when I see that, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody from those teams will make it. Then I mean, Cole Hamels, no, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
impressive again, like Jimmy, like great career. I just don't know if it's Hall of Fame or
it takes a lot to be in the MLB Hall of Fame, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nowadays it just seems like they're throwing anybody in there. I mean, Scott Rowland was another guy who had a solid career, but we're talking about Scott Rowland in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
solid career. Like he had his best stretch was that time in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good with the Phillies, but then he hit his prime in St. Louis, and then after that, he was just kind of there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how Jimmy Rollins can't make it. I think Jimmy Rollins deserves it out of the three of them, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, we'll start talking baseball once they get their shit together too. So
apparently they're making progress. So let's go.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, I'll believe it when they say we're.
Time.
Yeah. I'll believe it when they unlock it when they end the lockout.
Yeah. All right, boys. It's been fun. Thank you again, Brian. We will see you now, I guess.
See you in a few minutes. Yep.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Make sure you join us at Hockey Happy Hour tonight. It's coming right on right now. So check us out.
Let's do it.
All right.